Conor McGregor says he's coming back to the UFC again. Oh, dear God. Oh. I mean, no, wow. No, he's totally telling the truth, guys. He means it this time. He's serious. He's gonna do it. See? Here's a tweet. Look at this tweet. Conor McGregor at the Notorious MMA says, Wow. Exclamation point. Real exciting times in the UFC. Oh yes. Hands clapping together. Shamrock emoji. Bravo, Dana White. Never a doubt. Dollar sign. I'm not gonna lie. I do like watching Conor McGregor fight. But that's the version of Conor McGregor when he was in his prime. Before he started doing cocaine, fucking strippers, and buying yachts, and floating away to wherever the fuck in the world he's at any given moment. He's not really a fighter anymore. He's a businessman. Or however the fuck he says it. He's whatever he was that made him so great, he's not that thing anymore. He's just not that guy. His worldview has changed since the days when he was hungry. You tell me that's a hungry man. I tell you, he's not tasted hunger in the last 10 years. Conor McGregor hasn't had to feed his family since he started earning millions of dollars, opening his mouth and threatening people and beating up old men and stealing ideas from his friends and throwing winches and carts. I remember when he threw that hand truck at that bus, and then Dana White went on to say, oh yeah, I've never seen something so disgusting in my life, or you know, the normal shit that Dana pulls out of his ass to make it seem like he has a conscience. I do tend to talk a lot on this channel about people who are unaware of how they appear to others. Dana White must be the king of them, because we all know he doesn't give a shit about anything except profit, okay? And it's clear because he was making a ton of money off of Conor's back in the 2015-2016 days. And that was great. I will admit, those were some pretty fun times. If I can go back to those days and relive them, I very well may, because frankly, everything was a little better back then. But that is not the sport that we are in now. Khabib Nurmagomedov is no longer waiting in the wings. He's no longer waiting for his turn at the title. He's taken the title from Conor and retired. And his protege, his brother in arms, has stood up, taken the title back, and now vacated it since then to go up a weight class. This is how things have progressed since Conor was anything even remotely great. Those times are over. I think that he has snorted more lines of coke than he has thrown punches in the last 10 years. And that's not hyperbole. I'm not just throwing that out there. I think he wakes up, does a rail, and then goes bangs a couple strippers, and then jumps into the ocean off of his yacht, maybe throws back a couple of cans of Guinness or whatever fucking nonsense he's drinking these days. He's not disciplined. I don't know if he ever was. I don't know shit about him, really. All I know is that he likes to open his mouth to make money. Very much like Tito's ex-wife. That was a low blow. You know who else gives low blows? Tito's ex-wife. I'm going to hell. So when I see news that Conor McGregor is coming back to the UFC for the 500th time, I no longer get excited. I don't believe it. It's like somebody telling me that the tooth fairy is going to leave me a bunch of money underneath my pillow. I just have no faith in that anymore. Santa Claus is more real to me than Conor McGregor's return. At least I experience the spirit of Santa Claus every Christmas. At least I experience that. What I experienced from Conor McGregor is just solid disappointment. I could have seen him fight Michael Chandler. That would have been a fun fight. Michael Chandler was super athletic and very entertaining to watch fight. Not much technique, but he's one of the most physically gifted dudes in the division against someone who had some of the most interesting striking that I've ever seen. But that version of that guy will never return. I think that he teases coming back on a whim. And then once he sobers up from his mountain of cocaine that he's snorting in Tony Montana's old villa, he realizes, in his moment of sobriety, I should probably walk that one back. maybe I should. This seems like it could be a bad idea. I don't want to get embarrassed again on national television. Sorry, not national television. World television and the internet, which is far crazier than national television ever was as a threat to be humbled upon. Virginia Slims should have blazed a trail. Just to put it in perspective, there's 50 times more likelihood in my head that John Jones is going to fight Tom Aspinall this year than there is that Conor McGregor will ever return to the octagon. That is how unlikely I think it is. And really, who would he fight? He's not challenging anyone anymore. All of his contemporaries are retiring too. A sign that he should probably keep his ass in the wheelchair. I just don't think that it's a good idea for us to entertain this idea anymore. There's nothing for anyone to gain from it. What could we get from this? What could we possibly gain from thinking that Conor McGregor is going to return? Maybe we could feed the old to the young, which is something I've definitely seen in mixed martial arts. They certainly like to do that. Take a big name from yesteryear, give them to a guy who's just coming up, who might be something big, gain a few thousand followers off of it, spark some interest. Who would be a good person to feed Conor McGregor to? Paddy Pimblett. That would be fun to watch. That would be really fun to watch. I wouldn't even watch the fight. I wouldn't pay for that UFC. I might just watch the pressers, because they would have some notorious shit to say to each other. That would be a baddie. I should probably be drugged into a field and shot for all these nickname puns that I'm making. It's really bad. But I think that would be a good fight. I would like to see Paddy versus Conor. They're roughly in the same weight class, though I think Conor has certainly put on some pounds, and we're not likely to see him train himself down to something more reasonable. No, I think that's another reason why we're never going to see anything interesting out of him ever again. When push comes to shove, he's just not going to get down to a competitive weight anymore. I know that if Conor McGregor shows up to the UFC, he's going to lose. He's just not motivated anymore. Sure, he'll look great in whatever suit he shows up in, but who cares? It's a hollow man. He might as well be dragging in a scarecrow. Conor is unfortunately another vestige of the past. A time when things were, I don't know if they were better, but they were certainly a little more interesting than they are now. And yes, we have the Ilia Topuria and Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev drama kind of unfolding. Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. Are they, aren't they? We don't know. I say that with that tone of malaise because in some ways I do miss the days when Conor McGregor was dragging the UFC through his pro wrestling screaming matches during the press conferences. Those are so much fun. I almost thought we were going to see more of that with Sean Strickland, but he turned out to be so abjectly untamable that we just couldn't see more of him. And also, he's just not that good in the cage. His style is too conservative and defensive for anybody to want to actually watch him fight. You watch one of his fights and you're falling asleep. You watch him on the mic, you're just like, oh yeah, this guy's great. Conor, that's why Conor was so awesome, because he could really mix it together so well. He could do both. He was a great fighter, an interesting fighter, an aggressive fighter. And he was the best ever on the microphone. But eventually, I think it wore thin. I think a lot of people got tired of his nonsense, his flip-flopping, all the run-ins with the law. And what's all this shit about him raping somebody? Didn't that go down? Wasn't he in trouble for rape? How the fuck are we letting this one pass? Are we looking at each other in the eye being like, yeah, rape's okay? No. If that was my daughter, there'd be no Conor McGregor anymore. I would have found his ass on that boat and fucking blown the thing to pieces. Man. So no. I'm not looking forward to Conor McGregor coming back to the fight scene because there is no Conor McGregor coming back to the fight scene. His career in the fight game is as dead as fucking Davy Jones. And that's where it belongs. In the ocean. With him. Like, comment, subscribe, baby. I'm out of here.